Yep, you've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the title. I recently relapsed. But what can I say about that? What can I say about the experience I've had? Now, the thing is, I have been on my semen retention journey. I've been over, I don't know, 3 months, a little over 3 months by now. And I don't really count the days, but I know it's been a little more than 3 months. But here's the things that I've learned from embarking on my journey to semen retention and restarting currently and going on to that path again to not fail. Now, first, I want to lay out the pros and cons and what I have learned about it. And this is mostly from personal experience. I can't say it for everyone, for everyone might have their own idea. As you can see on YouTube, that everyone has their own version of semen retention and why it's good and why some people say it's bad, and why I even seen some doctors say that masturbation leads to not having cancer. Now, one of the pros I want to start with in this, because I want to start positive, not negative. I want to start with the good things first. And some people might say, whoa bro, what are you talking about? There's only pros in this, there's no cons. There could be cons, you don't know. There could be. But on the pro side, what I have learned from semen retention is this. When I was embarking on this journey, and I have been on it, I felt more confident within myself. I felt like I have been not as desireful, and there was times where I was feeling just a little bit desired, but not as desireful. And feeling that confidence within myself, knowing that in my past I suffered from social anxiety and being more isolated in my room and not talking to as much people as I would think I should be talking to. I think by doing that, it has created this and generated this confidence within me, which I think is one benefit for doing semen retention. For everyone who is constantly doing the deed almost every single day, or is trying to walk away from it and not be in that same behavioral pattern. Now, for the second one, I think that this can be deemed as something that can be maybe controversial, and there's no actual, in the current state of place right now, there's no actual scientific evidence. But I felt like my vibe was, or my aura was just a little higher than it once was. And what I mean by that is I just felt like by not indulging in waxing my carrot or yanking the pipe, I feel like that my vibe was sticking out more, or maybe potentially I could be getting more people's attention. And some people say by not waxing your carrot, you can even get the gaze from females, which I don't think that's necessarily always plausible. That could be the case, but like I said, there's no actual scientific evidence for that. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that it's not plausible, but I'm saying from our current scientific establishments that there isn't at the moment any scientific standpoint for if it's true, but from a spiritual perspective that it is plausible that your aura does stick out when you are doing semen retention, or from a religious standpoint that maybe it is standing out more. And some people might say that you're more of a target when you are doing semen retention, but I'm just saying from that point of view. But overall, I think the pro side is also just creating that discipline and just being the better version of yourself, where you're not always wasting your seed or wasting your life source, and instead just using it for creating something. Because in my personal belief, your seed is something you use to create, like making a baby or creating a life, just in general. And of course, yeah, it can also relieve stress and spike up dopamine, but why do it every single day? And why waste it when just doing it every single day will make you feel good temporarily, as a temporary pleasure, but afterward make you feel completely like shit? Why do that? And why hurt yourself in the process? Now, for the con side, I think that there's a general belief when you don't do the deed and waxing your carrot. There's a lot of people out there who say that you don't feel lust or desire, which in my point, I don't think that's necessarily true. For when I was doing the consumer retention journey, I feel like that even though I was doing it, there will still be part of my mind that was triggered by little things that would send me back to monkey brain, monkey overdrive, if you will, to wanting to do the deed. And even if you're doing that journey of consumer retention, I feel like along that journey, there'll be temptations that will come at you, things that will make you want to just release. Even just being in certain environments, especially, to trigger that pattern. Or maybe you're feeling like watching porn because you feel a certain desire or emotional trigger or emotional charge to do the deed. Now, I can't say if that's entirely true, like I said, because some people might be 1 year or 2 year or even more years into not doing it, and maybe they've created this discipline with themselves to the point where they don't really feel the desire to. But I do think that sometimes, even when you're on it, consumer retention, I do think that there are times where there'll be that feeling of desire that comes in, or just the temptation, or something will want to trigger you to indulge into it, where the monkey mind will kick in and say, just do it, man, just do it once, you feel good. But I also do think that that's also part of the journey because you're creating that discipline within itself. So this is just my take so far on consumer retention. And after relapsing and failing, I'm not really out here just beating myself up and saying, oh shoot, I failed. I don't think it's going to really ruin my progress in the long run, because I've been not indulging in it for like almost 3 months now, and I don't feel like I really ruined my progress. I can just continue and keep going from where I am now and feel stronger next time I don't do it. Next time I relapse or I keep going on my journey and not doing it next day or just consistently. Because that's the thing is, I don't think it'll ruin your progress unless you start doing it consistently each day and making it a behavioral pattern. Is then I think when it might be a problem. So let me know in the comments, are you still on the consumer retention journey? Are you, even as a guy, are you continuing to do it? And if you failed, what have you learned from it?